Erection is the most honest thermometer of male circulation. When the penis becomes firm and strong, it means that vessels, nerves, and hormones are working in harmony. When it fails, no matter the age, the body is sending a clear warning that something in the mechanism is not working as it should. And here lies the detail that almost no one talks about. It is not only time that wears down this response, but daily choices that may seem harmless, including some fruits, 4 of them, very common. On the plates of men over 60, hide substances capable of blocking microcirculation and weakening the firmness of erections. These fruits are sold as symbols of vitality, but in the mature body, they can turn into traps. Excess fructose, for example, accumulates fat in the liver and abdomen, lowering testosterone and increasing estrogen. The result goes far beyond the belly that grows without explanation. It directly affects potency, weakening what was once an automatic sign of vigor. And when erection becomes unstable, it is not only intimacy that is lost, but also a warning that the heart, brain, and blood vessels are under silent pressure. The discomfort of this realization also brings an opportunity. If certain foods sabotage circulation, others can restore it. What separates the man who loses firmness from the one who preserves it is not luck, but daily choices that act either as a key or as a block. It is this hidden map that this video will explain, revealing which fruits act as invisible brakes and how to replace them with options that truly strengthen vascular and sexual health. Before continuing, make sure you are already subscribed to the channel. Here you will find clear explanations, without taboos, about potency and male vitality. And I want your participation. If you feel that your erection is still strong, write this word in the comments. If you notice that it has become weaker, write warning. This simple gesture is the first step to clearly seeing what your body is trying to tell you. Pineapple is seen as a tropical fruit, refreshing, almost a synonym of health. But after 60, what seems like an ally may hide invisible traps for your erection. The problem is not in the vibrant color or in the acidic taste that cleanses the palate, but in the excess fructose that each slice carries. In youth, the liver can handle this natural sugar load well, turning it into quick energy. With aging, this process becomes less efficient. The result is the accumulation of visceral fat, which settles silently between organs and in the abdominal region. This fat is not only aesthetic, it directly interferes with hormones, converting testosterone into estrogen and weakening potency. There is also a second blow. The strong acidity of pineapple can inflame the intestinal lining, harming the absorption of essential minerals such as zinc. And without zinc, there is no proper production of testosterone nor efficient release of nitric oxide, the molecule, responsible for dilating blood vessels and allowing the penis to become rigid. In other words, that juicy piece of fruit that seems innocent may slowly be draining energy and sabotaging penile circulation. The most treacherous part is that the effects do not appear overnight. At first, you notice that firmness diminishes in certain moments. Then, morning erections become rarer, until one night, the body fails precisely when you need it most. Many men attribute this only to age, but the truth is that repeated choices, such as including too much pineapple in the diet, silently train the body for fragility. This is where the power of intelligent substitution comes in. Instead of eating pineapple every day, choosing fruits that are less acidic and richer in good fats, such as avocado, can help reverse part of the damage. Avocado provides stable energy, improves insulin sensitivity, and preserves the hormonal levels that sustain male vitality. It is the difference between a fuel that burns quickly and weakens the engine, and another that keeps the engine running steady and strong. If this warning makes sense to you, show that you value this kind of content. Leave a like on this video now. This simple gesture strengthens the channel and helps bring this information to more men who need to understand how small details, such as choosing a fruit, can change the course of sexual health and circulation. Banana is perhaps the most present fruit in everyday life. Practical, cheap, available everywhere, and throughout the year, it has become almost a symbol of healthy eating. But when we talk about male vitality after 60, banana can be a discreet enemy, one that no one suspects until the signs are already clear. The danger is not only in the natural sugar or in the calories, but in the way it interferes with brain chemistry and, as a result, with desire and erection. Every time you eat a banana, your body stimulates the production of serotonin, the so-called hormone of well-being. At first glance, this seems positive. Relaxation, a sense of calm, even improved sleep. The problem is that in excess, this serotonin directly competes with dopamine, the neurotransmitter linked to motivation, sexual drive, and firmness of erection. It is as if two different songs were playing in the brain at the same time, one slow and sleepy, the other energetic and vital. Over time, the slower melody drowns out the other, leaving the man more passive, less interested, almost apathetic in the face of stimuli that once sparked fire. There is yet another silent factor: lectins. These plant proteins present in banana can irritate the intestinal lining, creating mild but constant inflammation. This irritation, besides disturbing digestion, interferes with the absorption of essential nutrients such as zinc, and without enough zinc, testosterone drops, and with it, sexual vigor. The effect is not immediate, but cumulative. A daily breakfast with bananas can, over months or years, slowly drain vitality in an almost imperceptible way. It is curious to note that many men in this age group report unexplained tiredness, loss of sexual interest, and difficulty maintaining firm erections even without major apparent illnesses. What few realize is that small dietary choices, such as insisting on banana as a staple fruit, may be behind this exhaustion. Excess serotonin leaves the body too relaxed. Irritated intestines reduce the absorption of vital minerals, and the final result is a body that slowly loses the ability to respond to pleasure. Thus, banana, which seems so innocent in the fruit basket, can act as a hidden sedative, weakening desire and circulation exactly when these systems most need to remain active. The body, after all, is a machine of balance. When one neurotransmitter rises too much, the other falls. When an essential nutrient is lacking, the entire hormonal system suffers. And it is precisely in this invisible game that male potency. If these four fruits can sabotage circulation and weaken erection, it makes sense to learn exactly what to put on the plate and what to remove to recover potency in an intelligent way. In my digital book, Rediscovering Intimacy, Healthy Sexuality, after 60, I present a practical step-by-step, choices that preserve nitric oxide, adjustments that protect the endothelium, how to reduce sugar spikes, organize sleep, and align mind, hormones, and circulation for firmer and more natural responses. It is direct, applicable, and designed for the mature male reality. Access the link in the first pinned comment and start today to reprogram your vitality from the inside out. Grapes carry the reputation of a healthy food associated with freshness, lightness, and even longevity. But for men over 60, the story is not that simple. Inside these small fruits, especially the green and seedless varieties, there is a hidden excess of fast-absorbing sugars, glucose and sucrose, in concentrations that the body absorbs almost immediately. The result is a cascade of glycemic spikes, followed by abrupt drops that drain energy and silently inflame the blood vessels. This inflammation is the real critical point. The endothelium, the inner lining of the arteries, needs to remain intact in order to release nitric oxide, the molecule that dilates blood vessels and allows blood to flow into the penis. Without nitric oxide, there is no firm erection, no full circulation. When sugar spikes become routine, the endothelium wears down, loses sensitivity, and begins to release less of this vital substance. It is as if the body's internal roads were becoming narrow and fragile, unable to withstand the necessary pressure. In addition, excessive consumption of grapes can overload the pancreas, forcing it to release insulin repeatedly. This cycle not only affects daily energy, causing fatigue and drowsiness, but also contributes to the accumulation of abdominal fat, one of the greatest enemies of testosterone. The more this fat increases, the greater the conversion of the male hormone into estrogen, further weakening desire and potency. This is not about demonizing grapes. In small amounts, especially the purple variety with skin, they can provide antioxidants such as resveratrol, which are beneficial for the heart. The problem arises with frequent and unlimited consumption, particularly in the form of juice, or when used as a replacement for hydration. In this form, the sugar load enters the body all at once, without fibers to slow absorption. The impact is direct, rapid, and corrosive. Thus, what seemed like a healthy habit, nibbling on a bunch of grapes at night or drinking a glass of natural juice in the morning, may in silence be sabotaging your circulation and, along with it, your erection. The sweetness, in this case, hides a bitter cost. A glass of orange juice upon waking seems innocent, almost like a cultural ritual. The vibrant color suggests vitality, freshness, and energy. But for the male body after 60, this habit can act as a disguised trap. When the fruit is squeezed, most of the fiber is lost. What remains is a liquid concentration of fructose and glucose that the body absorbs within minutes. without any natural barrier to slow the process. The impact is immediate. Glucose surges in the blood, insulin rushes to try to control it, and minutes later comes the sharp drop, the well-known energy crash. The man feels tired, irritable, and mentally foggy. This constant rise and fall is more than discomfort. It is a trigger for chronic inflammation in the vessel walls. And here is the decisive detail. Erection depends on blood vessels that dilate quickly and precisely. This movement only occurs because the endothelium, the inner lining of the arteries, releases nitric oxide in response to stimulation. When the endothelium is repeatedly attacked by excess sugar, its ability to produce nitric oxide decreases. Without this chemical signal, blood does not enter the penile chambers with enough pressure, and rigidity disappears before it even begins. For many men, what starts as a slight decline in potency gradually turns into persistent impotence. The curious part is that the origin can lie in something as ordinary as a morning glass of juice. Each sip, when repeated daily, reinforces a cycle. High glucose, inflammation, less nitric oxide, impaired circulation. The symptom shows up in bed, but the root lies on the table. There is also another overlooked aspect: metabolic overload. The liver, responsible for processing excess fructose, accumulates fat over the years. This buildup, known as steatosis, reduces liver efficiency and amplifies hormonal imbalance, lowering testosterone and favoring estrogen. The result is twofold: compromised circulation and declining desire. In other words, that glass of juice that many believe to be the secret to morning health may slowly be corroding the foundations of potency. The sweetness that seems refreshing in the mouth may, in fact, be draining energy, vitality, and firmness from where it matters most. After taking a closer look at each of these fruits, it is natural to ask, how can something seemingly so healthy turn into an obstacle for male potency? The answer does not lie in an isolated detail, but in a pattern that repeats itself. Whether it is pineapple, banana, grapes, or orange juice, the silent enemy is always the same: excess simple sugars, concentrated fructose, and chronic inflammation that damages the endothelium. The endothelium is the thin layer that lines the arteries and holds the key to erection. It releases nitric oxide, the molecule that opens blood vessels and allows blood to fill the penile chambers. When this layer is healthy, the response is quick, firm, and reliable. But when sugar accumulates in the blood, the endothelium is silently damaged. The cells lose efficiency, the release of nitric oxide decreases, and the result is felt exactly where men notice most. The erection becomes unstable. The problem worsens because it is not only genital circulation that suffers. Each glucose spike also weakens the arteries of the heart and the brain. This is why the decline in firmness is not just an intimate inconvenience, it is an early warning that overall vascular health is compromised. What reveals itself in the bedroom is often the same thing that threatens longevity. And here lies the most treacherous detail. These effects do not appear from one exaggerated feast, but from the daily repetition of small doses. A slice of pineapple at night, a banana at breakfast, a glass of juice in the morning. On their own, they seem harmless. But together, over the years, they train the body for fragility. It is like constant drips that, over time, corrode the entire structure of the house. Therefore, the issue is not about demonizing fruit, but about understanding the biochemical pattern they trigger. For men after 60, dietary choice is no longer a small detail, but a strategic decision. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to turning the game around. Instead of reinforcing inflammation and blockage, choosing alternatives that nourish circulation and preserve nitric oxide. After understanding how 4 seemingly harmless fruits can gradually undermine circulation and compromise erection, the inevitable question arises: what to do from here? The answer does not lie in completely excluding fructose or living in fear of what is on the plate. The true change begins when you realize that each food choice is a silent message to the body. Either you invite it to work in harmony or you push it toward fragility. Male potency, especially after 60, is not only about testosterone or desire. It is a direct reflection of vascular health and hormonal balance. When blood flows freely, the brain sends clear signals, and the endothelium responds efficiently. Erection happens as a natural consequence. But when the vessels are inflamed, clogged by years of small, repeated mistakes, the body stops responding. The problem never appears suddenly. It is cultivated in silence. The good news is that the reverse process is also true. By replacing excess fructose with more stable sources of energy, exchanging sugary juices for options rich in antioxidants, and providing the body with nutrients that preserve nitric oxide, it is possible to retrain the arteries. This is not a miracle, but physiology. The vessels adapt, the endothelium strengthens, and what seemed lost can be recovered. Men who take this path report not only firmer erections, but also more energy for daily tasks, sharper mental clarity, and even improved mood. Circulation, after all, is not a circuit exclusive to intimacy. It is the motor of the entire body. And when this motor returns to the right rhythm, vitality reappears in every gesture, in every night of sleep, in every intimate encounter. That is why this video is not just about 4 fruits. It is about seeing erection as an honest marker of overall health, a reminder that small choices can turn into big victories, capable of restoring confidence, potency, and the feeling of being whole again. And now I want this reflection to go beyond the screen. Subscribe to the channel to receive more serious, clear, and straightforward content about male sexual health. Also, give this video a like. This gesture helps spread the message to other men who need this information. And when you finish here, choose another video from the channel to watch. Each one is another piece in this puzzle of vitality. I will stop here. Take good care of yourself, strengthen your choices, and see you in the next meeting.